Hey, what's up, guys? I'm about Brian. Long time no see. So, I'm going to get some announcements out of the way. Crossing Swords is back. So, what I decided to do is come back with a very interesting matchup today. I'm going to be presenting to you Geralt of Rivia from the Witcher series versus Trevor Belmont of the Castlevania series. Both of these guys have shows on Netflix, which is kind of what inspired me to make this video because I really like the Netflix series. So real quick for the announcements, before we get into the death battle, guys, what I want you to do is I want you to know that from now on, our goal this year is we're gonna try to get out 12 death battles altogether, this one included, that we're working on. And to do that, I need you guys in the comments below to tell me the death battle that you want to see, and so I can add them to the list of potential death battles that I might do, for my Crossing Swords series. That being said, guys, before I want you guys to remember that this is how we do things for my Crossing Swords series, which is very similar to Death Battle's Death Battle. Basically, it's been the standard rules: no prep time, no help. It's just, basic gear, no prior knowledge, etc. And then of course, if we have any special rules, we will announce that at the beginning. So that being said, let's get into this episode of Crossing Swords and figure out who's gonna win this death battle. Let's go.
Alright guys, let's get into this death battle of Geralt of Rivia versus Trevor Belmont. Alright, so the first thing we want to know is you want to go over all the characters, so let's start with Geralt of Rivia. Alright, so Geralt is age 38, height 5'10", weight 185, powers include being superhumanly strong, fast, agile, has increased stamina, heightened senses, hardened bones, accelerated healing, an extended lifespan. Witchers live a very long time. Like, they live almost like it's from what I'm understanding, they live about 10 times the average human lifespan here. So they also have limited magic use called their signs, which have a variety of effects, which we will go over here in a little bit. Geralt's skills include Master of Martial Arts, Weapons Expert. He's also a Monster Expert of all the monsters that exist in his universe. He is a acrobatic fighter. He's a skilled strategist and knowledgeable alchemist. This is what he uses to make his potions, which is another thing that we'll be talking about here in a little bit. His notable feats are: he beheaded a fiend with one hand, killed a bear with his bare hands, dodged arrows from bows and crossbows, and defeated other witchers in combat. So these are some of his very notable feats. The next thing we're going to go over is the Witcher signs. Now, the Witcher signs have a variety of effects, including creating telekinetic waves, shooting fire, energy shields, magic traps, charming opponents and animals and things like that, and forcing people to go unconscious. There are a few other things that these signs can be used for. They have a variety of purposes within these effects, but the idea here is that, they have the Witchers have access to these very quick, limited magic charms, which are called signs. They're basically, and they use their hands to perform the signs, and that's why they're called that. Geralt will be going into this death battle with his very basic weapons. He's going to be having both his swords. He does have daggers that are the same thing, made out of the same thing as his swords. So he'll have one made of steel and one made of silver, and of course we will give him one bag of potions, as pictured here. I don't think that's exactly what the potions bag looks like in the Witcher series, but you know what? It's just a visual representative of what he's going to have with him. So these are the weapons that we are giving Geralt. Now we're going to come over to Trevor Belmont. Trevor's powers, including the ability of being superhuman, having superhuman strength, speed, durability, heightened stamina, and social influence. And his skills are Master of Martial Arts, acrobatics, weapons, extensive knowledge in demonology. He's also intelligent and able to think on the fly. Now, the difference between Geralt and Belmont here is Belmont is born with his gifts. being that he's part of the Belmont clan, and these people are, his family is described as being very gifted physically. So from what I've been able to find online, there's no real reason for that, whereas Geralt is a mutant, basically the equivalent of a medieval mutant, and he was basically forced to drink mutagens and undergo training to become a Witcher. Belmont is just his family trains for the combat in mostly demons and vampires, but his gifts that allow him to keep up with these beings are mostly genetic. His notable feats are defeating Dracula, dodging arrows, and defeating a small demon army, just to name a few of his notable feats. Belmont is also just a very an interesting character, but one of the things that you might want to know about him is his weakness is alcohol. He can't fight if he's drunk. That's just a fun fact. That won't come into play, but it's a fun fact. All right, so this is the part where it's going to be very important for you guys to hear for Belmont. All right, so for Trevor Belmont, yes, he's physically gifted to where he's very, very strong, very fast, very agile, and very hard to hurt. But the big thing that he comes with is his weapons. As you guys can see here, Trevor will be going into this battle with the Belmont sword, his signature throwing daggers, the Vampire Killer Whip, and the Morning Star Whip, which is the chained one that is actually more of a Morning Star than a whip, but he uses it like so. Some notable things to know about these weapons is that the Vampire Killer Whip actually has the effect of nullifying magic. So it doesn't make Belmont completely immune, but it does make him less susceptible to magic, and that's an important feat. And the the Morning Star Whip has a very unique effect when hitting demons and vampires and the like. It basically can cause them to explode. This, however, it has been shown that Belmont can cause this effect based on will. In the Netflix series, we see Belmont using both the Morning Star Whip and the Vampire Killer Whip to kill a demon, dual wielding, basically, and then he charges the explosion power of the Morning Star Whip to cause an even larger explosion upon hitting the demon, and this charge happens before he even hits it. So that's a fun thing to know, that the Morning Star Whip is capable of being, the Belmonts are able to use this weapon to kind of like charge it up and cause an explosion at will, and without necessarily having to hit a demonic being. The knives and the sword don't seem to have any kind of enchantment to them, but the Vampire Killer Whip and the Morning Star Whip are both enchanted weapons. Alright, so now we're going to be determining who's going to win this fight. So, and the winner of the fight is... Geralt of Rivia! Now, hold on, Castlevania fans! I know you want to hang me in the comment section, just hold on a second. Before we get into there's 3 factors that give Geralt the win here. And it's gonna seem a little bit weird. By the way, also, I left the, in case you guys can't tell, I left the watermark on the artwork for the Belmont character here real quick. If you guys want to check that person out, I recommend it. I just left it in there so so y'all know I'm not trying to take credit for anything I didn't make or anything like that. I just wanted you guys to see that. So go check that guy out on DeviantArt. Anyway, back to the reason why Geralt wins this fight. Alright, so unfortunately, this was a very hard fight to determine. I spent a very long time trying to figure out who would win this fight, because these two guys are extremely similar. Both of them are gifted in the terms of physicality. They're both physically strong, physically fast, able to do things that most humans cannot. Whether by genetics with Belmont or by drugs with essentially, and genetic mutations with Geralt. Either way, these two guys are very skilled combatants. So we really had to look into a lot of I really had to look into a lot of their feats and try to figure out, okay, what physically edges do each of these guys have. So one of the things that we were able to find as a traceable feat is the kinds of arrows that these guys dodge. So as you can see here, there is a regular bow and arrow, and then there is a crossbow. The reason why this is important is because Geralt dodges crossbow arrows, which, according to Google, can increase the speed of an arrow being fired by 2 times that of a regular bow and arrow. So Geralt is dodging a weapon that is that is coming at him far faster than what Belmont dodges. So this was one of our indications that Geralt has an edge over Belmont. I know this is a very small thing to look at, but these two guys are, like I said, are very similar. The werewolf that you see Belmont kill in the Netflix series is definitely comparable in strength to the bear that Geralt kills with his bare hands in his universe. Because Geralt can kill grizzly bears with his bare hands. So those two beings were very comparable here. So physicality, I would argue ballpark, they're the same. But Geralt has 2 things that ultimately give him the edge. One of the things is that we can tell is Geralt might be slightly faster than Belmont. He doesn't seem quite as acrobatic, but in this particular fight, it just won't make a difference. Yes, the Belmont whips will give Geralt a bit of a challenge, but one of the things that Geralt has that's going to also give him an edge is the potions. Geralt is already physically probably an equal, and skill-wise is very much an equal to Trevor Belmont. Now, Trevor Belmont has his enchanted weapons, but Geralt has his signs. Now, the fire sign and the forceback sign may not be as useful against Belmont himself, but he does have a shield sign and a few other things that could be useful to help him against Belmont's weapons. And let's face it, like I said, both these guys are highly skilled with multiple weapons. So one of these deciding factors is going to be those potions. Geralt can take a potion that will increase his strength and his speed and the deadliness of his weapons. So even though the Belmont can probably not be as taken aback by any of the signs that Geralt could throw at him, Geralt can just take a potion and then probably blitz him. And then the other thing that's ultimately going to be one of the reasons why I decided to give this fight to Geralt is, lastly, age. Age is a very big factor here. Geralt is going to live a very long time, but Geralt is age 38. He is twice as old, pretty much, as Belmont. Belmont's 20-something. It's not very specific how old he is, but the truth is, Trevor Belmont's in his 20s. Geralt is 38, almost 40. So basically, Geralt is almost 20 years experience on Belmont. So, and these guys have fought monsters of very similar power levels, very similar. They have similar training. This wouldn't, and the truth is, it's going to come down to these 3 factors. I think Geralt has him beat in speed, experience, and the potions give Geralt the increase in raw power that he's going to need to power through Belmont's whips. And the truth is, because Geralt also he's not a demon, he's not a vampire, so the Belmont whips don't seem like they're going to be as potent against Geralt as they would if Geralt was a vampire. So, or a demon of some kind. And there's nothing that really indicates that the mutagens make him classified as any kind of demon or anything. So there's nothing to suggest that Belmont has an edge in that department. But hey, that's the death battle, you guys. Make sure you stay tuned. I'm going to give you guys a little sneak for the next one, for the next episode of Crossing Swords, and for that next fight. And make sure you guys leave a comment below on what you who you want to see in a future Crossing Swords. And guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.